moved around the map and didn't get a single kill as Night Stalker?
The truly bizarre thing about this, right? If you've been paying attention to Vici Gaming, is that before Anton's even in the game, FY for a long time wanted to do these greedy jungling supports. He would play like 4-position Wraith King and then go farm, those kinds of things. And actually, again, when they started doing better was when he stopped being that greedy. And he would still do interesting things. He'd do roaming Pudge, he'd do roaming Mirana. But it wasn't heroes that take farm from other people. And I think a lot people used to criticize Super that he ended up being underfarmed, he didn't get enough done. And I think a lot of the time that Super was underfarmed, it's because FY was getting a lot of farm. Super got a lot more farm in the games where he, initially in this patch when they were doing well, when FY wasn't taking that farm, when he was playing those roaming heroes.
It is time for us to get into the draft. It is time for Virtus.Pro taking on Vici Gaming in what is to be our third elimination game of the day. One game beside the fate.
Virtus.Pro have learned to ban Nature's Prophet. That was my number one point of criticism in the group stage. They kept giving it away and they kept losing to
I hate to tell you though, like, your excitement is going to be disappointment straight after. Burning is drafting, not FY.
Oh.
That dive didn't last long.
Is there any team that shouldn't ban Nature's Prophet when
favorite
they...
player out of all Chinese teams.
I've heard.
Yeah.
Is there any team that shouldn't ban Nature's Prophet when they have second pick in this tournament?
They have first pick.
Yeah, they do.
So they're banning it even though they're first. Did Virtus.Pro does not play?
It's weird because I feel like DK Phobos actually plays it well, but they're just not comfortable drafting around it, I guess.
Maybe they're still trying to bait out the Earth Spirit or the Chen pick in the first two.
Oh, they should not. I was really not impressed with how they played with a Chen in the group stage. That's not what I would not recommend.
Like
that.
A team mindset in that game.
I would not recommend that for
Earth
one.
Spirit though.
Oh, they banned Death Prophet instead.
Give Will the yes.
They also
exactly.
like
Will's a
Spirit
disgusting
Breaker.
player.
They like Spirit Breaker a lot for DK Phobos, allowing them to be maybe a lot more aggressive and determine the pace in the game, because that's what they need DK Phobos to do, together with GG.
I don't like that hero in the offlane this patch. I think it's just weak most of the time.
The two of you actually cast the first game of the tournament. He was playing Spirit Breaker, right?
Yeah.
And was that anything to do with their loss?
He played okay. They had a Chen DP draft, and they didn't really pressure. They were just very slow and let Liquid make all the early moves, and then they were so far behind they didn't really get to.
So that game's not the reason you don't like Spirit Breaker in offlane.
No, it's more of a like over the entirety of the patch when you just see the hero played in different matchups. It's the offlane plays a different role now in most games than it did in the previous patch, which is why I loved personally playing offlane last patch because it was so active. The only really active hero you see in the offlane nowadays, most of the time, is Nature's Prophet. And okay,
What we have here? Can you explain this to me? Why you would pick Sven first? I mean, I like Svenlina. It's very aggressive. You've got double stun lane. Yay!
You're not really blocking it from Virtus.Pro, and Virtus.Pro were unlikely to ban it in the second phase.
VP might have picked Lina actually, and they also might have banned Sven. I kind of like this. I feel like it's confident. It looks like they have a plan of not being unable to fight.
They have a plan to deal with the Enchantress, that's for sure.
And this is a really
I'm not sure about
matchup.
like the Lina being like picked up or blocked by VP, but I think it's still acceptable to pick it up here. If you're gonna go with the Sven, you get a couple of core with the support. I don't think it really reveals too much of your draft, other than you've got Enchantress's number pretty damn well.
So are we gonna see Earth Spirit get through the first phase?
I would.
Low actually plays a really good Earth Spirit.
I know. I thought they were gonna first pick it. Like Low's a disgusting player like that. He just spams cancerous heroes.
If you are Virtus.Pro, are you worried that Vici Gaming has got like something special in mind for your Earth Spirit? Because it is an obvious pick to go for, right? But Vici Gaming might have a specified plan, which you.
No, I am like.
I'll Beast is good too.
I think Enchantress Beastmaster is like a 1-2 opening is best.
And that's a lane, right? That's usually a lane. Yeah. It's like an aggressive lane.
The downside of picking an Earth Spirit here is that hero is, I want to say, kind of hit or miss. It just hits most of the time. That's why we feel like it's good. But
you mean the boulders?
No, just you want to have an impact in the first 7 minutes with that hero. Just roll in and find a couple kills. This kind of lane is really difficult to engage on, assuming it's a support Lina, which we don't even know yet.
And this is why I'm not a big fan of the Enchantress first pick, is that I don't think that it couples well if certain heroes are left out. For example, I don't think Earth Spirit Enchantress is a very good support duo because of the fact that you actually have no laning laning phase presence at that point in time to zone the offlaner out.
Yeah.
So if Vici Gaming were able to get something, say like a Tidehunter that presses forward against some sort of melee carry you're running, you don't actually have strong heroes to be able to zone that Tide out.
You could play the Angel an offlaner in that case, but that's just really dangerous against this kind of burst damage that Vici has.
It's one of those really interesting things, right? There's lots of things that affect what you first pick. It's what you want the most, but it's also what you worried they might take out. And I think most teams don't want to start a draft with Enchantress so they can afford it, but they all think the other team will take it if they don't, so they just take it out as quickly as they can.
So what are we looking for in the draft of Vici Gaming to complement their Sven and their Lina? Because so far it's been countering the Enchantress, mostly. But what kind of game plan could they really get with that?
I just want to see them play Timbersaw, honestly. Win or lose, I just want to see Timbersaw. That hero's fun.
That might be a
That hero's so bad though.
I think situationally it can actually be incredible, but it's...
But not in the offlane?
Not really in the offlane. But
not
they
in the
have the
offlane.
potential to play an aggressive lane, I think. When you
Agreed.
open with something like this, it is maybe in the back of your mind. I think Timbersaw has a very good matchup in Beastmaster. Reactive armor is great against the boars. You're naturally good in strength versus strength matchups in lane.
We haven't seen many aggressive lanes though. It's like, and the ones which we have seen have normally been coupled with an Enchantress. Like support coming out from the jungle.
It still is possible to deal with. It is very hard, but if you're Vici Gaming and you want to maybe pull out something, oh never mind, the Bounty Hunter is actually banned because I was thinking they could maybe try to run something.
I think Isis's hero is probably the key to the draft though.
Yeah.
I mean, whether or not it's Timbersaw, and you were mentioning it earlier, Sin, that like the offlaners at the moment, their job is not really to like be active and it's kind of different. And I feel like even though Isis has signature heroes that are being picked at the moment, like Tidehunter, like Nature's Prophet, in the last year or so we've come to know Isis as like that guy who makes these clowny space creating moves, and offlaners just don't do that right now very much. So like, do they find a way to get him an offlaner that still does that kind of space creation, or is he just gonna fit more into the current mold?
Yes, in.
I'm just...
What's he gonna do?
I can't remember if Isis plays Lone Druid. It's actually still in the pool and could be very interesting for Vici Gaming.
He does. I think he may have played it once this tournament already. I know that the only hero he won with, they had 5 games, and the one they won with was when he was Older Titan. But he plays Phoenix actually, and I wouldn't assume this is a support Phoenix because for this patch, Phoenix and Void are Isis's most successful offlane heroes. And he's actually really, really good at Phoenix. And we saw what Ohio did with the offlane Phoenix in that one game, so I think this could possibly be Isis's pick.
It's funny how you actually mentioned both those heroes together, considering it's like Team Liquid who were playing like Phoenix and Void together and like running that support plus offlane combo, and it was brutal to go against. Obviously, when you run a Sven core, Void isn't really the greatest unless you got like a lot of burst damage coming out from your mid, which it could be
It's okay. I'm normally not a fan of the whole Void coupled with another melee carry, but the way it's just a slight change of play. The way you go for it is that Sven is initiating on an initial person. He pops God Strength, he stuns that person, he jumps in, right? And then the Void doesn't actually aim to control that person at all. He aims to actually time walk forward and catch the backline heroes with his Chronosphere to make sure there's no aid. So I would be okay with it here, but either way, I really like the Phoenix. I think it's one of the strongest supports that is left in the pool, and I also think that it is so good versus Enchantress.
I am very
Sunray
sorry.
destroys her constantly.
The way that people in Chinese pubs play Doom is go for an Iron Talon and go into the jungle!
Now, the reason I said yes is that I actually think this hero is underpicked. The only team I've seen play it in this tournament was OG, and I think they did lose one game, but that game is the one that they should have won that game. There was some weird misplays in that game, and it got really exciting because Rubik stole Doom like 5 times during the game. But I like Doom in this patch. I think he's a bit forgotten. Like almost everyone's forgotten him, and we were talking about how ironic it was that the Chinese pubs have like a Doom in more than half of them, but none of the Chinese pro teams played. It was actually OG using it, but there's finally a Chinese team pulling it.
Is this really a lineup that you want to pick Doom? Like, right now I'm looking at this, before the Juggernaut, Enchantress, Beastmaster, Lion, I'm just going like, okay, what does Doom do for you? It deals with the 4-position Enchantress. You know, like, Doom's always going to be useful in a way, but you want it to be able to, like, especially right now when it's kind of out of favor, do something a little bit extra. And I feel like with the Doom already out, you can pick up strong, sustained cores at that point in time that are able to counter that. And I think Juggernaut's one of the perfect examples. Healing Ward, just offsets every bit of damage over time that Doom does with his ult.
So my feeling is that what a lot of teams do at the moment is when the enemy team has the Enchantress, and especially when it's confirmed it's the jungler, then they just like want their own jungler so that they can challenge that early lane stage value. And I mean, that's not an argument for why they chose Doom and not say Enigma, but I think that's part of it. And unless you think the Doom could be offlane and the Phoenix could be support still, like, is that still an option?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. The Doom will also, we should mention this, the Doom will also have more of an impact. The Devour is going to be used against the Enchantress. So I think it's the 4-position Doom that's going to be running over, like, devouring Enchantress creep, trying to have an impact in the lane, and then playing the greedy 4-position. But the Phantom Lancer...
Okay, we need to figure out what their roles are here, because the most common superhero here is Lina. After that, it's probably Doom, actually. I've never seen super plays. I'm pretty sure I've never seen him play Sven or Phoenix or Phantom Lancer. So, do you think, I mean, if Lina's mid, then do they have just... Does that make the Phoenix and the Sven support?
If this was another team, I would say it's Phantom Lancer mid, but...
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Burning could just go mid, and Super could play like safe lane Doom or...
And Zeus will be your last hero to round it up. Well, now, we are going to see what will pick up. Super will pick up that Phantom Lancer, so knowing that, I want to hear you guys' predictions for this game.
I like Vici's draft a lot.
Yeah? You just go for Vici straight off?
Yep.
Cat?
Prefer Virtus.Pro. I think their lineup is just all around easier to execute.
Sin, what do you feel like we should look out for as a viewer? What kind of timing should we look out for as a viewer for people to start making movements around the map?
I think VP first 15 minutes, and I think Vici Gaming everything after 10. Like, they need to just slowly establish their lanes, and then they can start making really big plays in the game.
Okay, Toby, last word goes to you.
I'm just happy to see VP with a draft where they can be aggressive. The question is, will they be?
Well, we're gonna find out with yours truly, or rather with you as well, Toby, as well as Synderen, and we are gonna go on to the match. Vici Gaming taking on a Virtus.Pro elimination match.
I don't know, does that make, like, you are yours truly, or I'm yours truly?
It didn't work out, okay?
Are you truly Sind?
English is very difficult.
You're my truly.
Let's Dota.
Cool. Wonderful.
Synderen sucks.
Synderen's amazing, Cap.
Alright. Doing a little bit of a switcheroo here.
Yeah, we play musical chairs.
You might want that
What?
thingy
Do
for your microphone. I don't know,
Oh
maybe you want
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Could be.
Just so I don't like blow everything up.
Could be something for
But
you.
yeah, I'm Toby1, that's Synderen, and we're casting this game.
Yep. Absolutely. Let's see. I'm curious to see how the lanes pan out, because as we talked about, we were curious to see what the Doom was going to do. It is FY on Doom, so he will be doing the jungling most likely, but he didn't start Iron Talon. He actually started with a Stout Shield, Salve, and Clarity together with Tangos, so might be more of a... You know, there's this thing in Europe that we call China Doom, and that's where you get very early Orb of Venom, you get a creep, just go and play it as an Enchantress. You simply just run at people, hit them, and fight with Scorched Earth. I won't say that's out of the question here for FY with that item build. It is actually a possible way for him to play this game. Very curious about that choice, though, of starting like this. See?
Yeah. We'll see how it plays out eventually. For now, Ice, it's not a bad ward, like nice and deep inside the jungle, but it's also not giving a lot of vision when you come closer towards the lane. I'm a little worried about Ice being ganked by the Enchantress, and maybe that's why that ward's just a little bit better, but it's not really that bad when you got a line on the field. Like, it's not like a Rubik who can grab you mid-flight. Like, the chance of you actually hitting Earth Spike mid-Icarus dive is pretty low. So he should be okay on the off lane.
One of Phoenix's weaknesses, though, is that it has really low movement speed. So if Lion comes in from a flank angle, it might be difficult to get yourself in a position to dive out. And if he casts Hex on you, if he just precasts it and you start diving and you get hexed mid-flight, you just return to your original position, you're in a lot of trouble. You actually see Lion already chose to skill it right away here. So he may be looking for an aggressive play early on with a Jug.
It could also mean, too, then Ice can fight directly against Lil. Because he did bring down a lot of consumables on this Phoenix.
He's gonna need it, I think. This lane is, in my opinion, pretty difficult 1-on-2. I think Phoenix in the Dire off lane is most of the time very weak, as long as it doesn't get a 1-on-1 matchup. We'll see what Lil can do here.
Yep. Come on, look off your screen. I can't see my mini-map. Alright, so this mid matchup, like, if we look at the PL as well as the Zeus, like, the Zeus is gonna harass the living crap out of this PL. Like, we expect this from God. Normally with the Zeus lanes, like, you're not looking to actually have like an overall advantage. Like, it's just more of a trade-off kind of lineup. Is the PL wanting to try and like change that? Does he try and gank up against the Zeus? Does he like Phantom Rush forward and get really aggressive to God?
It's hard to say. This is not a matchup I've seen very much, to be honest, in the mid lane. It's not really a classic matchup. I think Zeus is pretty good at holding his own against PL, just consistent harassment early on. But when PL starts hitting, he already hit level 3 now with 2 in Lance, he can kind of trade. I just don't really see a kill here unless there's a rotation.
It's a weird kind of trade. Like if they're both playing bottles, and it's just like it's lightning bolt for Lance, and then they both heal up.
And they're both just farming. Zeus will farm with Lance or with Arc Lightning most of the time, and PL just farms with Lance.
Yeah. Maybe that's when we also look to see the influence of FNG, who's at this point just harassing out the top lane. Needs to create a little bit of space, so not too much. Like he doesn't want to leech too much experience away from that Beastmaster, but the ability to slow down Burning's farm will definitely be useful. And Burning right now, like we're 2 minutes in, and he's 4 for 3 on the CS, compared to the 12-1 like PL in the mid. Like the mid is, you got 3 times the amount of farm on your mid than you do on your safe laner.
This is just an awful lane to play Sven against, to be honest. When Enchantress gets good creeps early on, you just harass Sven out of lane. There's not that much they can do until they rotate over the Doom, but the trade-off here for VG is that they've secured Ice a pretty good start. He's got 5 CS, Doom is getting some decent experience here too. It looks like they're kind of sharing the lane as far as CS go.
It's kind of weird that like when you even when you do rotate the Doom over, when you rotate those other supports over, like what do they really do against the lane? Like you'll see, like Enchantress should see them coming. And you can always just quickly TP in the Lion. By the point I think that you're even ready to rotate, you might even have to deal with Thunder God's Wrath. And you could find yourself just being like blowing up.
It is definitely worrisome playing this kind of Phoenix game right now, but as far as the lanes go, they're just pretty slow right now, and to be honest, I did say that VP needs to get a lot done in the first 15 minutes, but it doesn't have to be through kills. It just needs to be through pressure. And the pressure they've put on Burning and the amount that they've secured in all 3 lanes, I feel like they're getting what they were looking for out of this early game. Vici,
the trade-off is they're obviously getting some levels.
Is you going off?
Alright.
Nice.
Battery just died, son.
We'll get him worked out. Yeah. The trade-off is, you're right, yeah, they're farming definitely a lot inside their lanes, but now, on the bottom lane, FY, this is the first real aggressive move they've done, coming back behind the lane and start instantly into the spin, where they turn on the Sunray, looking for the big burn. Silence still spinning it out at the moment, so finally Ice gets that damage into Lil, who is very low with the Icarus dive up. VG Gaming, very successful, very tanky dive to get back behind that tower, and VP no way to really push VG back out. Meanwhile up on top, FNG, the perfect troll trap into Centaur stun. Phobos needs to help out a little bit more. The Stormbolt will buy some space for Burning, but he just cannot run away. The Wild Ball is on his tail, and there's just no movement speed to work with for that Sven.
So 1-for-1 trade. First blood, of course, going to the Doom. I think it's very good for Vici Gaming, making sure that this support Doom gets to have a big impact in the game. Already level 4.5, minute 4. So it's looking very good for him. He's even going to get a regen rune by the looks of it, unless they save it for super. They do not. And he's going to move in. And one thing we haven't talked about so much is that we don't really see Doom so much nowadays, and of course we should remember that the Doom that was dominating previously, it has been changed. You don't have level death anymore, but Infernal Blade is an incredible level 1 ability. It deals so much damage. It's 160 plus 5% of target's max health on level 1. So it makes dives like that way more possible than they used to be with the old level death.
Yeah, it didn't really feel like it was going to be possible, but then you you're bringing in multiple dots to dive behind those towers. Eventually you win, but FNG, like you knew he would come down. Unfortunately for him, FY is going to consume up this Centaur, but big thing is just that spin for Silent. It cannot be stopped. So the Phoenix will drop, and FY does not want to keep this pressure up, even if Silent doesn't have spin. So that heavy damage early on won't go into him. It's just not worth the aggression. And he's got a creep wave worth of like levels. This will bring him up very close to level 6.
And you were completely right, by the way. The moment Zeus hits level 6, they make the aggressive play bottom and use the Thunder God's Wrath to secure that. So a little bit of a boost here for G in the mid lane, who's already doing fine. And to be honest, this early game just seems pretty even all around, but the main thing to draw from it, actually never mind. Sven has caught up a bit more than I thought he would.
Yeah, did they actually
put a lot of pressure
on? Like it was just like this now lanes?
I'm actually really surprised because they put a lot of pressure early and then they got a kill on him, but they've let go of it a little bit. That one rotation from Enchantress actually cost that top lane almost. The entire lead they had has just vanished.
If you're a VP fan though, you're still going to be okay with this. Like, you're getting a Beastmaster roar up, so you got that single direct control coming out from VP, and when you push like that, like just taking a pick, having a good Enchantress army behind you is what it's all about. If they can kill off the Doom, maybe they can keep that Enchantress army alive.
He is such a hard kill right now. He has 1,000, actually 1,100 health. He went into a Bracer, so I'm guessing it's a drum build up here for FY. So he has a Bracer, level 3 Scorched Earth, and a Phoenix Sunray to back him up. See, he's not scared, he's just gonna eat that wolf. Oh, thank you very much, I don't need to find that later.
You almost wonder if like the Bracer just gets him into a hand of Midas, if it like ties him over with strength.
And you
that
actually...
way you just like destroy the Enchantress every single fight. The only thing you'd have to build into the Enchantress then is damage on Impetus. That would be all she would bring.
I actually wonder if they picked Doom specifically for this reason, just to eat inch creeps early on and be able to fight. We were talking about the greed perspective, but it's actually a really good counter gank perspective as well. Like, FNG is trying to put pressure here, but it's not really working. They're rotating 3 heroes in and just pushing them away, which I guess is nice, but at the same time, Burning is just getting this free farm top. PL has barely moved from mid, so he's also doing very well, and all in all, his VP are just wasting time right now.
Yeah, especially on guard. Like, you don't want to see this Zeus fall behind. Like, Zeus plays perfectly when he stays a level, like, either in front, like, basically, yeah, a level in front of the mid. Like, he needs to have that higher burst damage, which just is capable of finding kills. But right now, like, he's a 2-3-1-1 build. It's not bad for 7 minutes into the game, obviously, but he's not a powerhouse. Like, he's not that quick rotation to bottom, grab the haste and take a kill straight back to mid, back to the farming, back to the levels, and just increasing up the items. It's not the progression in this game. I say that while he's still second net worth on the board. And FNG's actually going to burn a smoke. Maybe this is one way he can get close, but again, like FNG's tried this now. Well, this is the 3rd time they're trying to get up in FY's face. But FY, okay, well, he's already used the power, so he can't get rid of the creep. Nice stuns, nice spins, and FY just doesn't have a reply. And Ice, well, his Icarus dive will allow him to escape, so not in any real peril.
I was wondering if they would even be able to get that kill, but just barely they got him down there. Sunray was not enough, and actually Phoenix is going to get dove here by Juggernaut using the Omni Slash. So they get another kill here. VP, that was really, really important. Like, it seemed like it was stalling out a little bit, and VG, in my opinion, benefiting from that. But these 2 kills might be able to transition VP doink.
He does it all the time. Like, in the group stages, he actually spent the first 5 minutes just smashing the button every time it came off cooldown. Even when he was CSing, he was still doing it. It's just his thing.
Good distraction tactic.
Well, it's the mental game.
Question is who he's distracting, if it's himself or the opponent.
Well, in this case, they're both same net worth, so maybe it's not really helping anybody. But again, we're back into this position on bottom lane. Silent's got no mana though, so they just go straight into the Doom. Which means the line could have some level of influence, but again, you just turn on that beautiful nuke. The stun ray goes to work. Silent will die. They attempted the denial from FNG, but it wasn't possible. Ice giving himself a little bit more life, consuming up that fairy fire. But as he throws out his little fire spirits, it slows down Lil and God from getting those attacks off on
He's getting level 6 on Phoenix right now.
Very deep and super. Baited in a double stun. How did that reach that range? Either way, it does do so, and the biggest range is Ice directing the stun at Lil. No cream applied, and that's going to be 2 heroes down for either side, while Super as well as FNG can just keep battling it out. But nope, Super will disengage, but the Lina in the meantime brought down by the Beastmaster on the top lane. A solo kill here for Phobos. He did have to consume the Roar, however.
And that was, I think I just did the math wrong. He used the Sunray, and then he didn't have enough stick charges to get mana for the Supernova. And that fight, I think, goes differently. At the very least, he survives himself and maybe takes a kill with it, but instead just ends up not really getting anything out of it. The solo kill for Phobos is putting pressure on the tower top. He's going to get a fast Necro book. VP was worried for them, but they're starting to put themselves in a pretty good position here. One hero they haven't dealt with at all, though, is Super. It's farming. Yep.
Well, that's one way to deal with him.
Bait him to the rune.
Yeah, that just shows you also that nuke power. Wait until you actually see something like a Veil of Discord coming up on that Zeus in combination with the Lion.
He actually should have seen them. They have a really good ward. I don't think they were smoked for that, were they? He actually did have that high ground ward covering all the path that they came in from. So maybe not paying attention for half a second gets you killed.
VP did still expand, like that was the Thunder God's Wrath they blew for that too, so...
Oh, absolutely, go for it.
Yeah.
I actually don't think they needed it, to be honest, but better safe than sorry. Did G get that kill? Yeah, he did, so I think it's worth it just for that. You want G to play from ahead in this game.
The only downside then is maybe like the cooldown of the Lion's Finger of Death, like that's like over 2 minutes for just that cooldown.
Well,
But you
highest net worth enemy hero.
You still got the kill on the PL, so you're fine with this. You're fine. I still want to see God's like item progression. Like, what's his next major item to come? Like, I'm thinking Veil of Discord. Obviously, Ether Lens is just like it's a no-brainer for the Zeus.
Veil is very good against PL because you can see which one is real. It lasts for the full duration and there's no way to dispel it as far as I know. So the right one is going to be glowing purple always, even through Doppelganger. So I agree with it. That's like an added bonus. It's not the primary reason he's picking it up probably, but if he is, I think that's a very good choice this game.
Little Smoke just broke. FYI should be very aware of this. They were baiting with Silent by using the spin like that. It's going to be a very enticing attack if there are 2 players from Vici Gaming on that bot lane. Just because you know he's got no way out. And, well, hello, another kill up on the top lane. This time, it's not the Beastmaster finding a solo kill. It's God's Strength triggered off by Burning. And just a combination with VG Gaming. But they now have also Laguna Blade on the field for the Lina. So some good burst damage coming back the way from VG.
The next player I would be looking toward is the Dire Heart camp. Sven has double stacked it with Helm of the Dominator. He still has his Hellbear in good condition to stack it one more time, and he will want to farm that. And VP, I don't think they can afford to let Burning have it. We talked about how Vici Gaming have like 2 farm-intensive cores in their playstyle, and this game they might just be getting away with it. If both PL and Sven get farmed and they don't lose the early game too hard, their mid game is super strong, and VP are playing realistically their only physical damage against it that really matters is a Juggernaut, because it's a support Enchantress. She will never hit hard enough with that impetus.
Yeah. But that means you got to get a lot of farm onto Silent. Luckily for him, he hasn't had a bad start to this game, but need a lot more damage in Sven. He's just getting bigger and bigger as time goes on. I think it's an SMY build coming out from
Most likely.
He's got 1600 gold. Actually, is SMY really the play? Like, we wanted to see like VP getting aggressive, but maybe we should be looking at the shoe being on the other foot. Does VG Gaming need to have that jump in initiator? Because you don't have it from the 2 supports. Like, Doom will jump in to Doom, but it's not really initiation, unless you want to give him a Centaur creep and, like, look for your stun. That's the only other way around it.
But I don't think VG need to play that way right now. I think they can just play slow and farm, and then ultimately Burning will most definitely get a blink, but I think SNY first is fine. Just keep your effectiveness up, just keep farming. Oh, ice, yeah. That's how it goes if you stay a bit too long. They got the tower, that was probably enough. But gets a little bit greedy there, of course wants to try to get his Midas, but punished for it.
It's still fine. You expect casualties of wars from Phoenix, especially if you can take the tower. So VP, like, as you said, they're very aware of the stack, and they come over Burning. Actually moving in the fog of war. He didn't realize they were right next to him, and that's a very quick kill. The question is, how much of this ancient area can they take? And, well, that question is going to be pretty much answered. The answer is nothing. As Super is already chasing them out. In comes the Phoenix as well. They keep the land spam going on FNG, but there's just no real target they can instantly pop.
Healing Ward is so great against Sunray. It's like a very natural counter. On level 4, they kind of even each other out. The Sunray deals a bit more damage than the Healing Ward heals, but not that much. So I think there's a lot on Silent in this game to make sure the Healing Ward is in a safe position. The problem is there are a couple of heroes on Vici that deal with it very well. The Phantom Lancer is a good example, just sending in the illusions, running after that Healing Ward and forcing it out. Obviously Phoenix can even drive-by hit it with Icarus Dive. Crucial thing to keep an eye on.
Waiting for that support to come up top. Super just dodging around. FNG's picked up a double damage rune as well, but with the doppelganger it's pretty easy for Super. He's trying to bait the illusion. He did bait it out. Oh, the raw used on the wrong target. Now FY is going to TP himself in, go for the Doom on FNG. Super's not looking to slow him down. FNG's still got his heal going, and Phobos a very quick TP out. So the Doom won't find a kill. In fact, Phobos cancels his TP. This was scouted out. The Dire Observer Ward actually would have seen him walk around inside that shop area.
That was a pretty bad Doom.
It felt odd, because it happened after the sprites were already triggered.
Yeah, it was completely wasted, and now they don't have it for the fight. That's why Phobos is staying. They know he obviously doesn't have Roar, but he can contribute a lot. Doom has used everything in his arsenal apart from one Infernal Blade, and he kind of has to just go back, so maybe if he can put on the pressure. DK Phobos was really respecting Super there. I think he thought it was a clone. He actually had the full roar animation going, and then he canceled it because he's like, ah, I'm scared it's real, and then obviously then he gets faked out afterwards.
Got to trust your gut and go with the first instinct.
Yep. It would be very random for Super to have an illusion moving that way at that point in time, but obviously respecting your opponent is not a bad thing. You just need to be careful not to overestimate them and miss your own opportunities for it.
VP really want to finish up this top tower. They've had the Hawk up there with all the vision in the world, but it's taken them some time. So in the meanwhile, on bottom lane, the Phoenix has been getting a fair amount of space, and even Lina in the mid lane was also finding some space to work with. And looks like we're going to be getting the Midas build after the Urn in for Ice, judging by that casual glove.
And Fenrir is just very quietly getting quite a bit on the Lina, as you mentioned. He's still lowest on net worth because he's doing a lot of the supporting, but considering that they're as far behind on kills as they are and that they've only taken these 2 towers, I still think Lina will be playing a pretty big role in this game later on, just with an Aether Lens. That's like the key item when you're playing it as support. You can stay at a distance and land some key stuns. And Fenrir historically, I think,
yeah, that's
this time didn't get faked out.
Oh, this time was actually a lot better positioning. Also on bottom lane, the Phoenix gets caught. VP initially brought those 3 heroes down there about 20 seconds ago, looking for the opportunity. Then the attack happened up on top, and I don't know if Ice has got a little bit distracted or not. But VP moved beautifully through the tree line, and again, like they're just getting the better positioning. You can understand it when you got a Beastmaster on the lane. But also on that bottom lane, it was just a nice smoke movement from VP. And now they're 12-4 on the board. They could be looking so good.
Yeah, they need to be careful not to overestimate their lead, because it looks like a very big lead, but it really isn't that significant. It's about 2,500 on Golden XP. They obviously have 1 more tower to claim, so there's a little bit more there. But again, looking at the gold distribution and how the heroes are faring, I think Vici are still in a pretty good position. And it looks like, by the way, we're going to see the Blade Mail Doom. This is like the pub build, so might have been inspired by it. Going drums into Blade Mail is what most players do in the Chinese pub games.
I'm still
great
waiting.
against Zeus.
I'm still waiting for the time when you can call out that Blade Mail Bear on Lone Druid to counter up against the Phoenix.
It's not really a counter. It would just be fun to see, you know.
It's like watching March of the Machines with like 5 Blade Mail players running into that.
Yeah, the difference is Phoenix can obviously switch it off, but if you can buy Blade Mail on one hero and counter out Sunray, I think in a lot of games that could be an investment that's worth to make. Alright, Burning gets another stack here. It's only a double, but he's getting really farmed, actually.
It's a good injection of money. Like, top CS on the board, now he should be top net worth after taking this out as well. Actually, just a little bit short of the Zeus. But we still start to beg the question, is he their initiator? Because now you've actually got PL, which isn't a bad initiator. Like, Phantom Rush is able to close the distance nice and quick, and then you've got Diffuser Blade, which will keep that distance closed. Or they could just force the issue, that also works. Just go directly into a team fight on the back of an Aegis. The Observer Ward and Sentry is up for VP. But they're not coming into contest. Like,
they're too far away.
Yeah, you've still got the Beastmaster all the way up on the top lane. So yeah, they won't get there in time even if they tried to. The ping just came out at the last moment there from FNG. So they just take the trade-off to farm up the lanes instead. But they have to be ready for a 5-man fight now. And really, are they ready? Like, do we have mechs? Do we have anything like that on the board?
I don't think there's any key team fight on just yet. But
you got
again,
the level 3 Necro book and a Blink Dagger on Zeus. That's pretty much like the critical ones there.
VP are definitely still fighting ready if it comes to that, but I have this feeling that VG might just look to use this Midas for farming. Or sorry, not Midas, the Aegis. Just keep themselves safe, knowing that VP can't take it. Just keep spreading out the map and farming. And to me, the key hero for VP right now is clearly the Beastmaster. They need to find the kills with the Hawk, get some information, control the map the best they can.
This will be easier once Phobos can pick up that Blink Dagger, because until he's got his, like, he can't get that instant blink into Necro units. Like, that's the quick killers. Especially up against heroes like Doom, who've got quite a poor mana pool, to say the least.
I don't think he can kill the Doom if Doom casts Scorched Earth before he gets roared. I think he actually tanks through everything then. After all, it is 1500 health and 9 armor. Not the easiest
he'll
kill.
need help. Like a solo kill, I don't think there's probably many heroes on VG Gaming he could easily kill
I
off.
think he can solo kill Phoenix, Lina, and PL. Actually, most notably
Yeah,
PL.
for PL?
Yeah. He's got 1200 health. 16 armor is quite a bit to chew through, but okay, I guess he might need a little help. But you know, there's a friend in the team in Zeus, so always get that extra bit of burst out. It's about 260 damage, I think, after reductions that he will help.
Speaking of which,
Yeah, he's in trouble.
Yeah.
They go in here.
they put the observer ward down now. They can see up, and yeah, burning, blink, stun, right on top of God. Fresh blink, easily put to work, and they already kill off the mid laner of VP.
Phobos has Necrobook ready. Somebody's gonna have to go back top. And it's PL. He needs to be careful not to get caught though, as he defends this.
Well, especially when Silence coming in as well. And there's no creep wave. So all Super will have to defend himself up against that level 2 Omni Slash is, in fact, all of his illusions of Doppelganger. But look at the heroes from Vici. They all come in, but you spin, you TP out, and you've already brought that tier 3 tower down to a very, very low amount of life.
And that big rotation force is also allowing FNG to push out bottom. Now, FY did not TP there, so he actually has an initiation angle here, but he doesn't have Scorched Earth, so probably isn't going to pursue FNG and didn't see him moving in the first place. But defends the
need more
tower.
help as well.
That was still a great play from VP overall, just putting that pressure top. The next time it happens, they're threatening racks. And I do think the glyph was forced. Actually, it wasn't ready.
Wondering if VP can really force that, because that opening was created because VG Gaming were pushing elsewhere. Like they were looking for opportunities elsewhere.
Oh no, they can't just 5-man force it, but just having the possibility, like it's got to be in the back of VG's minds at all times now that this top lane needs to be pushed out, and as they push it out, that's when you open up for a gank for Beastmaster, and if you don't push it out, that's when you open up for a push for Beastmaster. So he's just in a very good position right now, and this is the kind of situation you want to be in with the Beast, and why he is such a top tier pick right now is just the amount of utility you get out of it if he gets this kind of farm is incredible. Like, he is really strong right now. His net worth is 8,500, but I think his raw damage output, if he just gets to use everything in his arsenal, compares to a carry with more net worth than he has.
VP are trying to set up a bait here on the bottom lane. However, for them it's going to fail because VG Gaming have other thoughts in mind. They're just coming down for that tier 2 tower in mid. And VP are pushing too slowly. Like, they might be able to take out the tier 1 and do some damage to the tier 2. But that's not really the greatest trade-off in the world, because your top lane's not pushing in either. And VG Gaming should have enough confidence that they can just keep going to the tier 3. Even if it's not to push up, it's still enough to force like VP back to defend. And you see Burning, well, okay, hello confidence. He jumps in, takes a large amount of nukes, and Silent. He actually had Omni Slash available. Potentially, he could have had a crack at him.
His team looked like they were not on the same page. Like, he blinked so far away. They were already backing out with 3 other heroes. Brink's like, let's go, but...
Yeah, VG were already ready to defend the tier 2 tower. That's where the mind moved, and half of the bodies of VG Gaming.
That was absolutely also the correct play. Like, Burning can't make that play right now.
Instead, he now just
He
goes...
can farm some ancients, though.
Yeah, he can. He's
And-
almost got his BKB.
He is getting really, really strong now. And this is the problem with what VP did early, and that the fact that they didn't put on enough pressure. This will ultimately happen with the Sven unless they either control the ancient stacks really well or really threaten him in lane. And they threatened him a bit, which I was happy to see. I think that the way they laned was absolutely correct, but they didn't really benefit from it enough. And Vici Gaming, I think, feel like they're in a very good position. It's a very even game, though. Anything can happen right now.
Oh, yeah. They just need a good opportunity, and that's what VP are searching for. That's why they're smoking up. The opportunity that would present itself is Ice, as he reveals himself going down the mid lane, but they need to get that Hex off from line, or else this is not going to work. But Phobos, well, that's one way you can do it. Blink, Roar, and wow, the range of the finger. Ice goes down very, very quickly, and VP, because they're so close with the Necro books, they can try and push the tier 2.
I deem this finger not necessary. That was... That was such an overkill. I can't believe he used that. There's like 100 health on that Phoenix.
They weren't worried about the Nova.
2 or 3 seconds of stun. I mean, he was roared. That was like a good second.
Wow,
round to go.
FY.
But, you know, better safe than sorry, I guess. Could have taken it with a respect.
Careful killing those Necro units, FY. The PL illusions are chasing up. And where are they going? In fact, Phobos actually dragged one of the Necros up, but it's timing out now, so they can't push into that top tier 3 tower just yet. They can add momentum, which will keep VG on the defense, but that's all. I mean, it's burning this there. He doesn't care. He's got his 10-second BKB ready and rearing to go.
We haven't really traced up on Zeus's item build, we were talking about how Veil would be good. And he hasn't gone for it.
He's actually going for Octarine, but looks of it all.
Yeah, he's probably taking more of a core approach because it takes an item slot, right? And he needs to get big in this game as the mid laner. So the question is if they want to get it on someone else. I think it's really, really good for their lineup to get a Veil. Like, even if it's, let's say it was only for the Zeus, it's just so good when you're against a PL. When these chaotic fights will be breaking out later in the game. So I was just looking over the heroes and I was like, who can get it? They could get it on Lildan, he doesn't get Blink. They could get it on the Enchantress, but then, like, the int is pretty good. The stats are decent for Ench, so I could see that, but he wants to go for the Ags, so they feel like they can take the later portion of the game. And that leaves Beastmaster as the last choice. And I would actually like to see that on Phobos. It's very uncharacteristic to get it on BM, but I think it's a nice pickup this game, to be honest.
Especially when Beastmaster's probably looking more like that global style of control.
He has enough farm to go for like in between item because he's so rich. So he could be more ambitious too, though. Like there's a case to be made for just getting something like an AC or a refresher in this game.
I'd actually look for him to hold the lanes and let the rest of VP be ready to push. Like get BTs on him or something like that, so he can just
BOTs are good too.
Like just hold the side lane and then join the rest of them. It shouldn't be that difficult to do. But this game really starting to slow itself down a bit. No team really wanting to take the chance. Obviously, this is it's a full best of one. Like there's no second chances here. You're out of the major if you lose this game, as we've seen already with our first two teams being taken out today.
And I think, you know, when it comes to the gold graph, it's like pretty even. VP are gaining maybe a little bit more, but it's a question about where they're gaining it, like what heroes are getting rich. The Juggernaut is receiving the majority of the gold right now, but he needs to outcarry, essentially, in terms of physical damage. Zeus will be a bit weaker later on. He needs to be able to deal with a Sven and a Phantom Lancer. And I guess the PL matchup is okay because he has Battle Fury in his build. But the Sven can man-fight a Juggernaut very, very easily. So much armor with Battlecry, or Warcry rather.
I was like the only hope is like if you can find a way to remove that and then you just get like every single Omni-Slash hit onto a Sven.
They could.
Like that's the dream, right?
He could get Diffusal on the Jug so he can purge that, but there's still there's a BKB to be worried about. It's Beastmaster's job to shut him down.
Is that the BTs for the Beastmaster? In the stash?
Yes,
it is. Beautiful.
They've got to be VP have got to be thinking about Roshan now. They know it should be respawning, and it actually is respawned. I'm not sure if the max time is already passed, but it should be the next point of contention. And VG being Dire have an innate advantage right now. We've seen it in a lot of other matches how important it is to be on the Dire side.
Kind of feels like if VP set this up nicely, they could almost use Roshan as bait.
Yeah.
Because they do have a lot of abilities that allow them to kite this Ven out. Like the BKB timing, short, but like you're gonna blink BKB to go inside of Roshan. In fact, it looks like all of VG are coming down right now. Like they're going past their own secret shop and they're gonna look straight into Roshan.
They're actually hitting a sweet timing right now, VPR. They just got Octarine Core and the Juggernaut BKB.
They have to look though.
He doesn't have it yet. It's on the courier. It's in the base. They're actually going to be too late, maybe. No, VG are getting cold feet. They feel like they don't have enough information on the map, so...
Well, there's a lot of heroes missing. Like, even Enchantress isn't showing herself up on the top lane. Oh, this is really defensive.
He's showing now. This is a go call again from VG. You can see them pinging her out, and they're like, okay.
But she can still TP to that tier 2 tower and get there in time. And they're taking their time. VG, they're working through the stacks. Silent continues to farm up, and now with that BKB, the fresh one coming into this fight with SMY and Battle Fury, he's in the perfect position to try and come into an engagement.
I've got a bad feeling about VP just giving this. It looks like they know it's up, but that yeah, well, they've pinged it, but they're not getting together. Enchantress is still just standing top. They're not TPing and
where's the trade?
Congregating anywhere. They're just gonna...
It's like ever since that observer ward got de-warded early on, like the one that FNG put on top of the Roche area, there hasn't been really any other real solid vision around Roshan. Like, yeah, you failed to really properly contest up Ancients, but it's okay. They've just given that area to VG. And with an Aegis Immortal, VG Gaming can inflict a heavy amount of damage.
And what we're seeing right now is kind of similar to one of the problems we saw for VP in previous matches, both against EG but also against in their one game against Liquid, is that they they stop making plays.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any real aggression out from them. Like, if you look at the gold graph, the last kill is a good 7 minutes ago, and that's against a lineup that arguably, in many ways, has better late game and has the Roshan advantage. You can't just keep giving them these objectives for free. You have to put some sort of pressure, but they just seem so scared. They're not really taking chances.
You can understand though, like, their reason for caution. Like, they know that a PL with a diffuser blade as well as a Sven, if things do go wrong, they will lose complete control of this game. Where right now it's sitting on a knife edge and they're slowly losing control of this game.
Well, either way, they're losing control.
Yeah.
So they need to get some. And I think this approach is the right idea, with Phobos pushing out one lane and then trying to hide in the other lane. So he shows down there, maybe Vici shows someone top and they can BOT and look for that kill. You see FNG already pinging out Super up here, but he does have the Aegis. And there's no really good point of entry for the Beastmaster right now to TP to. So yeah, just not happening. VG are going to continue farming. Oh, Burning is going for what looks to be a Linken's, by the way. They have one way of breaking that so he can get roared, which is the Omnislash first hit. Should break the Linken's, so... That is very, very situational, though, that they can set that up in a meaningful way.
I'd be very concerned though, because Lion's getting pretty close to his Blink Dagger as well. So at least that would stop that initiation, this Enchantress. Gonna get Storm Bolted. There's more support rotating over from the side, and there's the jump in his Phobos right on top of FY with us. Decker they commit up the Finger of Death, killing off the Doombringer. It looks like Science will join him in the grave and burning this BKB. He's isolated. Fenrir's gonna come in close, but the Omni Slash as she bounces over to Fenrir, takes him out, and VG Gaming, this is a horrendous fight for them. Super thanks to a doppelganger Blink, he will be able to survive. But VG Gaming, okay, really? 55 life he survives on. God's got Blink in 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Super's got Blink up shorter though, so he'll get away. Or will he? The lightning bolt is too far away, Super will survive. What a nice time to have an arcane rune as well, obviously.
This is high ground, for sure. They have a lot of time on these 4 heroes, and actually only the Sven sitting on buyback now. They can definitely force that. I wonder if Burning is going to expend it before the other heroes respawn. They're going to lose racks, probably. Unless they start doing some really good defensive work here with Super. They know there's some key abilities on cooldown here, obviously, for VP. And they're being very, very cautious here with their other heroes. They'll Silent take the tower, and it's enough. I think if Super doesn't have an Aegis here, they might press for that.
If they may have also burned the Nova of VG, that may have been like another thing that was leaning towards it. But like, having that big ulti up and potentially getting caught on their heels before this Ven respawns. Danger zone, don't take the risk, just go straight back into pushing out the side lanes. You still got more objectives to take, and you probably still want to get one more good fight before you go up.
I just realized Ice has died a lot in this game. He's got 7 deaths on that Phoenix, and despite that, he's still doing, like, he's not doing great, obviously, but he still has the Midas into the pipe they've had for a long time. I can't remember seeing them using it once, unfortunately. Which is, of course, a really big deal. In these fights against Zeus, it would have its full efficiency, and the later he dies, the more it blocks just the passive part as well. So Ice he has to be able to get the supernova off. I think who did the roar go out on? Was it him? It went out on the Doom. So
yeah, it was everything was focused on the Doom.
I think the Lion was able to catch Phoenix at the same time, and that's like the worst case scenario for VG, is that those 2 heroes just get shut down like that.
So you don't get your Nova off. And Lion, because he actually caught the Phoenix, still like then committed the Finger of Death into the Doombringer. So they had enough damage to get through it.
I think Vici Gaming, if they get an engage where they Stormhammer literally any hero and they Doom Zeus, I think they win the fight. They really need to find G on the back line. Just taking him out for so long, they don't need to kill him, they just need to shut him down for those 15 seconds and just find other kills.
That's difficult to do without smoke. Like, you got to commit the smoke. You're up against a Beastmaster.
Yep.
Like, even though like we saw the nerfs to the Beastmaster, like Hawk, like ability to move, like it's like it was fairly heavily nerfed.
Speaking of which, they literally just did that. They just smoked under the Hawk mid. And VP should know this is coming. They're even going to use a Zeus ult just to get extra information.
Oh boy, oh boy.
And Lil had some... was thinking about it bottom. But it's going to let Burning go. There was no BOT target for Beastmaster. At this point you wonder if he actually upgrades the bots. He gets BOT too, so he can pour it on a hero like Lion sitting up in the side. Get in very easily. It's such a dynamic duo, actually.
I'd almost prefer to see what, actually... No. I was thinking Refresher Orb might be a nice little thing to have. That way you can actually have your minions for the fight and then Refresher and go again and push the high ground as well. Gives you double roars too.
Refresher is a very, very good item on Beast. When you're this rich, it's definitely within reach for you. He can also take more of a utility route and look for something that he can cast on an ally, like maybe a Lotus Orb or.
Well, he already
something
bought, he
on
already bought the
Linken's.
likes of Vlads for his
Yep.
team as well.
Fenrir's. Okay.
Okay.
He was up really far with no intel at all.
Silence just walked up to him. He got a 900 crit right then on the Lina, thanks to the double damage rate. Okay, well 1198.
Scant said VG needed to show up. They did a bit, and then they.
I would agree, but they were waiting for the right timing, and we were more worried about Virtus.Pro, like not finding fights, and then that big one just blew up on the bottom lane, and then you see why VG were also like so content to wait to the late game. Don't put themselves at risk, kind of thing. Like we've got us, Sven. We farm up. VP walk up as 5 all in one big go. We clears and we win.
Well, I don't blame Vici for their approach with how they've played. Like taking the farming route and playing it a bit passively with their lineup, I think makes perfect sense. But that fight they took in the enemy jungle was totally game deciding. You see, until that point, like you're looking at the graph, they're like around 2k the whole time. That's okay. That one fight, just big spike for VP, both in confidence and in money.
Yeah,
And
that's
they
one thing
didn't
you
have
never
to
wanna
do
give
that.
to VP.
I mean, it's understandable, you know, it's difficult to play passive the whole time, and I do agree that making a move is good, but that was obviously not the move the way they got into that fight.
Yeah.
That speaks for itself, that they got 4-0'd there.
See, this is the reason why like you get really like iffy about supporting VG, because you get to a point where you're like, well, it should happen this way, and then it just doesn't. Like it was the same kind of thing we felt from IG, and now Burning. Well, they trigger the Linken's. He does get the BKB off, which protects him from the Nectar Book's effect, but still look at the life he's losing. He'll trigger the collar strength. The Omni Slash will go and bounces up to FY Fenrir. What's it? He's just sitting there looking at his teammates die. Lil's being brought down by Super, but it's a 2-for-1 trade-off, and Super, he's kind of stranded. Doppelganger in 1 second time. Just 1 second long enough. It is. At least it is for Virtus.Pro. The gem was lost as well. It'll be regathered up now by Virtus.Pro.
No.
And they're just pushing for the bottom lane. They'll force the buyback on this Ven. This is going to be crippling financially for VG.
No Supernova, no pipe. Once again, he just keeps getting shut down. This time, you know as the Phoenix that the Roar is committed on the Sven. So, and I think, how did they break the Linken's in the first place? Was it Lion with a Blink Hex or a Blink Monitoring or something?
It was Line Blink in.
Yeah, I'm not sure which spell he cast, but at some point, you know, it is kind of difficult for Phoenix, but at some point, enough is enough. Like, he has to find a way to get the Supernova off. Now, it is kind of getting out of control for him. And if not, they just need to lead the fight in some other way then.
But they
Burning
can't.
getting
Like,
caught.
the Lina's having no involvement in the fight. Like, she's one of their primary stuns, and all she's got is a 4-star.
Well,
like,
then you gotta run into Doom.
I can't even remember the last time I saw a Laguna Blade being cast.
I don't think he's casted all game. I actually can't remember a single Laguna usage. But they have another frontliner. Like, if Sven gets caught out and they commit so many abilities to him, that's a cue for Doom to get in. Like, get involved, run in the front line, pressure someone so your Phoenix gets to play the fight.
Yeah.
And I talked about dooming the Zeus. Maybe at this point you doom the Lion and just get control of the fight so your PL, you know, as long as they don't get completely disabled and just shut down so hard, they should probably be able to run a couple of heroes down with the PL. You saw in that fight, he actually almost killed 2 heroes alone. Like,
Yeah.
There was like no other source of damage coming out from VG.
Everyone else just left him alone.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, Super, you do your thing. I still don't know exactly what the Lina was thinking, sitting at the back lines. Like, it was almost like indecision. Do I help my PL? Do I help the rest of my team who are currently fighting up against a target they can't kill?
Alright, this is a game-deciding moment if they continue this route.
Yeah, Thunder God's Wrath though just got used, so VG got caught with their pants down.
Nope,
They're
bouncing
moving
cool
over
now.
right now, VP, and now do they want to go in? Silent? Yeah, he just makes the run. Instantly into the Omni Slash, they isolate the Doombringer, bring him down. Bernie's still copping a hell of a lot of that Omni Slash, and Silent chasing up after him. Bernie's now out of his BKB, but God's right behind him, and there goes your Lincoln Sphere. And there goes really your hopes for VG Gaming. You've got the Sunray coming out from Ice, but the Nova's already been expended. It's a full team wipe on VG Gaming. As VP, you might have lost 2, but you still got 2 big ones that count. The Juggernaut and the Zeus.
They have to buy back the... Wait, what? I thought I just saw PL have buyback money, and then he didn't anymore. Maybe I'm... Did he just buy something?
No, he had the Ultimate Orb beforehand.
I don't know. This is Megas. I think the game's over. The only buyback they have is Phoenix, and he has nothing. And finally, Ice got the Supernova off, but it was in a really bad position.
Yeah.
And the weird thing is they had lockdown on the line this time. They actually had him under control, and I think the roll was used, but he's starting to get so scared and placing it so defensively. I know I'm harping on it a lot, and maybe it's unfair that I'm focusing so much on the Phoenix, but it's such an integral part of how they need to take team fights. He needs to be in the middle of it, so they draw some attention over or fight around the egg.
There's a reason why teams like Team Liquid are like getting things like Tidehunter or Faceless Voids to try and make sure they can get really solid positions and capitalize on these big ultimates. And it hasn't happened from VG Gaming. This Doombringer initiation from FY just, like, even with the Blink Dagger, he just hasn't been on the front lines.
VP didn't go all in for the Megas, though. They're playing the safe. Understandable, it's best of one. I do think they could have maybe got away with it, but they don't know for sure whether Sven has buyback or not, so they're playing it safe. They get 2 lanes of Rex, they get a Roshan now with Aegis and Cheese.
There's just no reason to risk anything.
This is going to take an absolute miracle for VG to get back.
Well,
It's
going to take VP like almost going like full moon. Just dive the fountain.
If they give this Aegis to Zeus, yeah, that's perfect. I really don't know what VG can do anymore now.
I don't know either. It seems like a hopeless situation, but well, we're definitely going to find out in the next minute because there's no way VP are going to be holding back. That creep wave on bottom lane is almost reaching the that tier 3 tower. The upside for VG, every ulti is up. So if you are going to turn up, that was the major question we asked here on the English live stream. Will VG Gaming turn up? This is it. This is the moment. And now they've actually got another problem.
I don't think this is the moment.
Vice over on a Zeus.
I think it's too late. I don't think this is the moment anymore.
You're so negative, Sin. You're so negative.
I'm just being realistic. Because honestly,
understand.
I feel like in comparison to the group stage games we saw of VG, they played better this game. They really did. They were playing against a team that definitely played better than them in the groups, and for 30 minutes they kept the game dead even. Then they had an Aegis advantage and took a really bad fight. And after that, the game has just been in complete shambles.
Yeah. Now they hold like a 25,000 gold advantage. It's like, in fact, it's still continuing to rise, 27k. Like, this is just through the roof. Vici Gaming, it would be one of the greatest comebacks if they are able to achieve this, and one exciting match to cast. But at the moment, it looks like VP just has to put VG in the ground and bury them properly. So they attack the bottom tower, they're looking for Megas, Silent instantly into the spit, as FY, he actually gets hexed up as well. That's God's going to work, but this Nova is in the middle of the team fight, but it's also in the middle of Virtus.Pro. They get rid of it, the line is the sacrificial lamb here, but look at God, he just moves back, he continues to throw out the nukes, and it's an entire team wide. VG Gaming are gone, you'll buy back on the PL, but that's only because you have no other choice. Super must try and fight, but God, he blinks away, he cancels the lance, so Gold will go survive, and again the impetus damage. FNG's actually out of mana. He's expended so many impetus this time around. You might have actually killed off the Juggernaut, but he buys back, but GG, well played. Virtus.Pro. It feels like I can say this, even though VG Gaming had a nice grip of the start of this game. They hit their timings right, and it was a very convincing win at the end of the day.
That was probably VG's best team fight in the game, by the way, that one. If they take that without being like 25,000 behind or 20,000 behind, sure, the Supernova got destroyed, but look at what happens when he places it in the middle. He drew so much attention to himself. They had a Doom out. They got the jump in. Sure, you destroy that egg. It took them a really long time. The other heroes got to do what they needed to do, but they're fighting into Aegis. They're fighting into